Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As I was about to title today's video, I created my own Pro-Am League in NBA 2K24, and you're invited, technically speaking. So, if you're interested in playing in a Pro-Am League that I've assembled, and it's going to be a little bit less competitive than the top Pro-Am Leagues and stuff like that, I'd even say much less competitive, but if you're interested in something like that, stick around in this video. I'm going to explain to you how you can get your foot in the door with the Pro-Am community through me as the vessel, so to say. And I'm here to just kind of allow everybody who's following me on this YouTube channel an opportunity to get your foot in the door with the Pro-Am community. Now, we'll get further into that as we get a little bit more in the video. As you can see, Handle's cooked up a fire thumbnail right here. Shout out to Handles if you guys want to follow him. He does all my thumbs and stuff. But this is the one you guys would have clicked on right here. Super fire. That was one of the coolest thumbs he's made. So you don't have to read all this. I'm going to mostly explain a lot of stuff like verbally and stuff like that. And actually, right here, let's just pan over to the graphic real quick. So as far as this league that I'm trying to do, I'm going to explain this to you guys. You can read whatever you want on here, but you can just kind of follow along with me through listening instead. So I've created a league of all my boys pretty much, and it's 35 of us. I've allowed it to be 7 teams, so there's 7 of us, and I allowed us, like, you know, to have 7 captains. And actually, matter of fact, below here I have the whole draft board and how this all went, and I'll show you the results of that in just a second right here once I get done explaining to you guys how you can get into this yourself as well. But this was the draft board. We had Dre, A-Dot, he's a comp Pro-Am lockdown, but he's going to position lock at either point guard or center, so I allowed him to pick a little bit earlier in the draft. So we have Dre, A-Dot, Blitz, Joey, Apollo, Tonic, and me. If you guys have been a mainstay on my channel, you guys have seen a lot of these names in the past between Apollo and Tonic being on my comp Pro-Am teams. We got Joey and Blitz have been involved recently as well. Dre has been in a lot of, like, you know, ranked Pro-Am gameplays and stuff that we've showcased, and then A-Dot also actually was in a couple playoff series with us as well. So anyway, let's get back to this real quick, and I'll get back to the draft board in just a second. So we're going to have 7 teams. I just showed you all the captains. We drafted, and I'll show you each round by round and show you how that went and stuff too, and it's actually really fire. This is gonna be a fun league for sure. Anyway, let's stay on track. So there's gonna be like a regular season. We're gonna play each other 3 times each team. So like, for instance, I'd play Apollo's team 3 times, I'd play Tonic's team 3 times, Joey's team 3 times, and we'll do that so forth and so on, kind of like how my league works. We'll be able to just play the games at our own pace and our own scheduling. I'm gonna have either, like, you know, videos showcasing like maybe a night of it, or a couple games, show you some results, stuff like that. It'll probably be mostly my games. Obviously, a lot of the captains I've assigned are either also content creators or can stream, like Apollo streams, Joey makes videos, Tonic makes videos, all that stuff, you guys know. So if you want to start following my circle and stuff like that, that's what I also want to do with this, is I want to propel other people into making content for themselves. And on top of that, what I also want to do with this is let my friends get an opportunity at doing something fun with 2K again, even though we're almost into May, you know? So that's all my goals with this right here. On top of that though, my biggest goal with all of this is to get into what we're talking about now for you guys, or potentially you who's watching this video right now. So as you can see, I'm going to have subscriber-led captains. I'm going to have, like, subscriber-led teams, as you can see. And the captains will be picked by me, people I can at least trust or know, or at least, like, somewhat good at the game. They have a good grasp for, like, maybe being a leader. I'm going to do some thorough background checking on that as well, and I'm hopeful that that alone is good enough. But we'll see how that goes, obviously. If you get into this, I obviously want to give all disclaimers. I'm not here to play babysitter for you guys or anything like that. I am just giving you an opportunity to hop in this Pro-Am League that I'm talking about. You end up in a draft pool. So, like, as you can see, Discord link below if you're interested in joining the subscriber draft pool. So if you're interested in being potentially available to be drafted to a team of one of these 7 captains that I appoint amongst my subscribers, you're going to have the opportunity to then be the remaining of the 35 total that will be invited into this. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an explanation on this. If we end up with, like, 100, 200, 300 something people that want to be a part of this, I'm going to allow a lot of people into it, all right? And what it's going to end up being is just a really big bracket on your guys' side, the subscriber teams, right? It'll be a huge bracket like how Pro-Am brackets are. Let me go ahead and show you like a Hoff League playoff bracket real quick, just to give you some idea for how this would work. And also, just know, me making this video in this league is not to try and dismantle something like what Hoff League and WR and stuff like that have. This is not that type of league. It's not people paying money in or anything like that. It's not uber competitive gameplay. This is just for fun and for content purposes, and again, for you guys to be able to get your foot in the door against similar competition to what you yourself may be. So an entry-level Pro-Am skill player like yourself who's watching this is probably going to play against a lot of other entry-level skill Pro-Am players, where it's not super competitive, it's not super experienced or anything like that, but you guys can all grow and learn together. Now, again, personalities will clash. It is not every day that you just find 5 people that cohesively can all meet each other on the internet, having never known each other, and all get along super well. So just understand that there may be some drawbacks, and I need some people that are a little bit mentally tough in terms of handling other people's personalities, or on top of that, I just need good people. I need people that aren't going to be assholes, you know, and keep it as simple as that, where you can just be a good person to everybody else. And personality is what I really want to check off the box when it comes to the people that sign up for this. So if you are not that type of person, if you're very conflicting and you're not going to be very, very friendly to other people that are going to be entry-level Pro-Am players that aren't super skilled and competitive, this is not the league for you. You want to sign up for something like Hoff. Go play, you know, SIBA runs or something like that. Go play draft leagues and stuff where you get signed up with other people that really want to sweat the heck out of the game. This is for the entry-level Pro-Am players that are really new to this stuff but don't have a team and don't have anybody they like really have to, you know, gather around to get into something like this and want to showcase their talents, or just develop in terms of trying to be a better 2K player, or just to have some fun, you know? I mean, that's what this is meant for. So this is the type of bracket, though, that I'm talking about. So if we get like 100 or something like that, or 200 people amongst this video that truly are actually wanting to play something like this, and I encourage you guys not to if you don't think you'd be dedicated enough to something like this. I want to be very thorough with who is going to sign up for something like this, so I don't want 500 people to sign up for it. I want like the best possible narrowed down amount of people I could possibly get that are actually going to be behind something like this. So if you click on that Discord link, just make sure you're actually someone that's going to be into this and not going to flake out, because I don't want quitters, especially when I can control it in the subscriber portion. Obviously, my friends, it's a little bit harder to control that, and we'll get into some of these details in just a second, just to try and, you know, make sense of this video entirely. But okay, let's stay on track here. So if we happen to get like 200 people, though, is something like that, it's going to turn into a bracket more like this, where we have a ton of teams in this Hoff League, as you can see. I mean, there's a ton of them. Like, look at all these teams in this bracket. It shows all their Twitter ads and everything included, and there's a ton of them, as you can see. But if we get something like this, where we have this many teams, it's going to be a bracket exactly like this, where it's literally just going to be something where you got to play through a lot, like on some NCAA tournament stuff like that. Whereas for us, it's going to be something a little bit more simplistic because there's only 7 teams. So it's a little bit more like an NBA playoffs bracket with like a play-in tournament first round. Then you got like the 6 teams it gets narrowed down to. The top 1 and 2 seed have first round buys, so they don't even have to play that. It'll be very simple for us with the 7 teams that we have. But I don't want to, you know, cloud things up and make it any harder for any subscribers to have to play against our teams. I just want them to be on two separate sides of the bracket. So this is very likely going to end up what the subscriber bracket is going to look like, with a ton of teams, whereas ours is going to be on the other side of it with only 7, and you guys will play all the way to the end, and whoever gets to the finals of the subscriber side of the bracket will play the winner of our side of the bracket as well. Now, I'd have to go into this assuming that a lot of the people I play with at least have some competitive experience or are decent at the game, because a lot of these are former teammates or current teammates that I play with, a lot of the captains especially. So I'd have to assume that a lot of us are going to be on a pretty good competitive level compared to the subscriber bracket on the other side. But it's possible that you guys could compete really well, and I want to give you guys an opportunity at winning it all as well. So I will say, as you can see in this green portion right here, subscriber teams will not have to pay any entry. I don't want you guys having to pay me money or having to deal with you guys scamming me or something like that either. So I'm just going to have this be a little bit more of a fun thing for the subscribers. And like I said, the more competitive experience and stuff like that, and just a fun time for you guys, and keep it as simple as that. And you can win for pride as well. And you know what? I may even still have the winners win something, because I think this will be really good content at the end of the day as well. And I want to make this something you guys can get behind and really get invested into this late in the year. I mean, as you can see, it's literally like, you know, April 22nd as I'm recording this right now. And normally I would kind of lose the fire for Pro-Am stuff or just 2K in general this late in the year. But I'm really motivated to make something like this work, and I know it's gonna be a lot of work for me to do. I also, let's talk about that while I'm on the topic right here. I need like stat guys, and I need it to be like kind of cheap as well. So if you happen to be someone that wants to do me a favor, yet I'll pay you something for doing it as well, probably like 50, like 60 bucks or something like that. If you could at least, maybe I'll even get a team of people that can do this. If you guys could just get box score submissions and stuff like that, like for instance, people would send a box score in of the final of their game. And if you can just write down player names and stuff like that, of at least the 7 on my team or my side of the bracket, and you can like maybe number crunch some of that stuff and turn it into averages and stuff like that, it'd be so perfect. I need to look for someone that's willing to be like a statistician guy. So if we can find someone like that, it'd be really clutch. But I'm really more so looking for members of the subscriber portion of the Pro-Am League, someone that just wants to get drafted and be a portion of this. And I'll have the captains pretty well figured out through my own sourcing and just stuff like that. But if you think you're like a loyal viewer of mine and I've commented with you back and forth a lot over the years and stuff, and you know I could like trust you as a captain, or you think you're the right type of person for this, not an overbearing leader where you're going to be a dictator, but also at the same time, you at least have some leadership bone in you where you're actually going to be able to be a captain and be, you know, assembling a team and understand team building and stuff like that. Now, that's where things will get a little bit more tough. So now going into the yellow portion right here, let's talk about this. Draft process will be more diligent though, you know, at the other hand of like not having to pay any entry. This is where you guys will struggle a little bit more than we did. So draft process will be a little bit more diligent since everyone is strangers with each other. So captains will need a chance to get to know all of you, you know, because obviously they're not just going to blindly draft. They want to at least know your position. Maybe we'll talk about like you could at least put something on your resume. You'll talk about 3-point percentage. You'll talk about understanding rotations. You just preach yourself to somebody, you know, give them a reason as to why. Or if you're not as educated of a Pro-Am player, be like, hey, I'm super available. I really want this. I really want to be a good player, and I'm coachable. I'm teachable, stuff like that. Just anything that fits, you know, the narrative that would make you a more draftable person, you know, simple as that. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, if we do get like 500 people in this, it's unlikely that all of you would get picked for something like this. I'm sure it'll be a little bit more limited in that sense, but we'll see how far we let this go. So I don't know if I want to make it any more complicated than that. I have an idea to maybe let all the captains get in a Discord and like literally do some speed dating like type thing, you know, where they can be in a Discord and I'll have people maybe go in like one by one and, you know, go into their private Discord and like talk to them for at least like 2 or 3 minutes, something like that. But I think that'd get really tiring for a lot of the captains and stuff like that. I think it's more likely that I'm gonna just have your guys' resumes on there. I'm gonna have you like, you know, I'll probably put a link in the Discord once you join it or something like that, and it'll be like some survey or something like that that you can fill out. I gotta really do my due diligence and like kind of get gritty with like knowing where I can do stuff like this, but I'm sure we'll find something like that. Right now, I just want to do more outsourcing. I want to get as many people of you guys that are interested in something like this into it, and it'll be as simple as that. So if you are interested, like I said, the Discord link will be below, so feel free to join that as well. I'm really intrigued to see if we can get a ton of people that are interested in this. But now let's go ahead and just reveal some of this draft board. So you guys can see real quick, here is where we're looking at for the captains, right? So unfortunately, I don't have the graphic perfectly sorted, so we'll go ahead and do this. So first round picks. These were all of the first round picks. So as you can see, we did this in a fixed order. So I think that's what we're going to do with the subscriber portion, because this is way more simple when you can just be like, okay, Dre's picking. That means if I'm ADOT, I'm the next pick. And, you know, we keep it as simple as that. You kind of just scroll from left to right, and then you read top to bottom like you would a book. You know, it's going to be first round is all these people. So we got Lag Out. He is one of the best Pro-Am players in this thing. He's going to be really good. He could play all types of different positions. Also, in case you're wondering what the color coding is, orange is for captains, and then any color like this is going to be the icons on like Xbox, for instance, right? So we got blue for lockdowns, which is like X button. We got A for power forwards or back ends, if you will, which is, you know, Y button. And then we have LT, which is, you know, the center icon. I just made it white. So anybody that has blue in their name, that's the primary, like the first color is their primary. So let's say like Nate, he's pure point guard. He's not playing anything other than PG. Cruz, he's like, you know, primary point guard, secondary shooting guard. Koza is primary shooting guard, secondary lockdown. So it is a little bit more simple when you just get it explained like that, and I think it's not too complicated anymore. So now, as you can see, like Lag, for instance, he can play 3 positions. He can play lock, power forward, or center. He could really play probably point guard if he wanted to. He's a really good player, bro. He's insane. So he's Dre's first overall pick right there. We got ADOT taking Nate. Nate is a comp Pro-Am point guard. Really, really good. Same with Cruz. He played on Joe's team back in the day, the last couple of years, until Bullet took over. So Cruz is teaming up with Blitz. Cruz is going to be playing the point guard. Blitz, I believe, is going to be playing the shooting guard. We have Joey, who took his boy Koza, who's also just really good. So it was like a homie pick, but it was also like if Koza went any further, he was probably getting picked by one of us 3. So, you know, simple as that. AK is position locking himself at lockdown. So In case you guys know who Shot's top 5 is, that's pretty much my duo the entire, I don't know, last 7 years. He plays point guard primarily, but in this league, he's going to condense himself down to having to play lockdown. That's why the asterisk is on his name. Same with ADOT, I have the asterisk on his name where he can only play center or point guard. That's why I even allowed him to pick this high, because if ADOT was position locking at lockdown, he's probably the last pick, to be honest with you guys. He's probably one of the best players in here. So anyway, besides that, Tonic takes Bonnie right before I could get him, but we got my boy Kitchen, one of the OGs to this channel. And if you guys know who Kitchen is, I mean, I've played with him since 2K19, and this year was like the first year that I didn't actually get to play with Kitchen a lot, to be honest. And I guess last year technically was like the first year that we were kind of Kitchen removed, if you will. But Kitchen's been like ideally my shooting guard on every team I've played with in the past that's with AK right here, but in some cases he was my only point guard, like in 21 Next Gen when AK didn't have a game yet. So me and Kitchen are reunited, and as you can see, I have my boy Tanner that I got in the second round. Now, this was not a situation where it's like we're going first round here and then we snake around and I get the first pick. This is going to be a fixed draft order, so it's going from left to right the entire time. So we come back to Dre with the second round pick, and as you can see, he gets his brother Salt. So this is setting up to be a really cool team. We got two bros. We got Dre and Salt, both really knowledgeable Pro-Am players. They can fit into a lot of different offenses, and I think it's gonna be really fun to see. So this is their big three right here. They got Lag Out, one of the best, like literally the best player in the whole league right here, and then they got Salt as well. Now Kobe, a really good lockdown in previous years, but hasn't played the game a lot this year, goes to ADOT, and this is a true comp Pro-Am 3 right here. Even though ADOT can't play lockdown and he's, position locked to center or point guard, the Pro-Am experience between these three is really, really good. This is going to be one of the top teams for sure. So then Blitz gets another one of Joe's guys, B-Black. He plays like secondary center for them, so like whenever Penny or let's say Hoff recently is missing, he fits into Joe's 5-out team in the corner, and that's what B-Black does. So he's primary center. He could play shooting guard if he needed to. And then in this case too, Joey gets his other boy, Sprague, so he's got the homie picks all across the board. This is literally like three friends that just play the game together consistently, and they're all content creators as well. So really interesting team dynamic there. Lazuli is a decent power forward as well. I think he actually fits into the Joe Knows kind of runs as well a little bit. So there's a lot of Joe's boys in here too. So Lazuli, he could play the 4, he could play the 5 as a stretch. That's probably where he's going to fit into on Apollo's team, because this draft board was very short of center experience. And obviously, we're playing with a bunch of guys that have played with LakerFan, There's not a lot of inside centers that fit into that dynamic at all. So this whole league is made up of all the people that I've played with, So it just naturally works out that way. Ginge, really good point guard / shooting guard. You can see he's primarily playing shooting guard though. So he was someone that I played 21 Next Gen with when AK didn't have the game, and Ginge and Kitchen fit into the same backcourt, and they were like combo guards. So I had Kitchen play PG with Ginge at shooting guard, and it was almost like vice versa anyway, where they could both play point guard, they could both play shooting guard. It was a perfect world where you could just have, split point guard roles between the two of them. They could both handle it as well. So me and Tonic assemble a very similar team in the first and second round right here, because I get my IRL Tanner, who can play on, let's say, a lot of the Bonnie builds and stuff like that, like 6'7" back end that can also play shooting guard, or he could play on a 6'6" that can be a secondary ball handler if I wanted to as well. Same way Bonnie could. Ginge and Kitchen have a lot of similarities in terms of what I already just explained. So me and Tonic have built very similar teams, because Tonic's going to play the 5, I'm going to play the 5, Kitchen's going to play the 1, Ginge's going to play the 1, Bonnie's going to play the 2, Tanner's going to play the 2. So we built a very, very similar team through the first 2 rounds. It was actually pretty fire to see. So anyway, into the third round, Renee, the only girl, I must say, and I don't mean that in a bad way or anything like that. I think it's so fire that Renee was down for something like this, and she's a really good player. I'm actually surprised that she slipped this far. I will say I had to get my boy Tanner though. I couldn't pass up on an IRL that's actually good at the game as far as like building my own team. So I obviously had to let Renee slip right here. But Renee goes to Dre's team, and this is setting up to be a really, really fun team to watch right here. I mean, as you can see, you got a really good back end with Renee. I'm telling you guys, she can play power forward really good. You'll have to check her out and check out this whole team as well, obviously. But add that to Salt, Lag, and Dre. This is a really cool team right here. Outer, we have a funny clip from Outer on Tonic's YouTube channel if you ever want to see it in the shorts. He missed like 7 threes in a row in one clip, but he's actually a pretty solid player, I must say. So you're not gonna, he's not gonna be regretted being picked by ADOT right here or anything like that. But Outer could play the 4, can play lockdown, but he's probably going to fit in at the 4, and he's going to play back end for Kobe. And then as you see, Vampire, he can play lock and power forward. And ironically, once again, this is another one of Joe's boys. So Blitz has built, they were calling it white market in the chat because it's literally black market 2.0, but obviously with no Joe and no mainstays on Joe's team minus Cruz, obviously. But you still have people like B Black, Vampire, and Cruz. They were all like Joe's boys at one point in time. So, and probably still are for that matter too. But anyway, yeah, so Blitz is building black market 2.0. We got Joey continuing his run right here, and he ends up getting Trippy. So Trippy can play the 2, he can play the 1, he can even play the 3 for that matter as well. He may end up having to play point guard for Joey's team because the guards were running a little bit low as well. All that was left on the board was Trippy and Zeke, and that was it. So besides that, we have Neff. He can play 5-out point guard, and it's possible that he will be asked to do that on this team because as you can see, the center amount was really running low right here. There were not a lot of people that can truly play the 5. Lazuli already isn't exactly a 5 anyway. He's more so like a 4 or a stretch 5. That just is more of a corner spot up rather than a screen setter. So Apollo's team may be summoned to a little bit more of a 5-out look, and Apollo's going to play shooting guard, Neff at point guard, and they may end up in a little bit more of a 5-out look like that with AK playing lockdown, just fighting through screens and doing all that. So then we have Denton. He's a lockdown. He can play the 4. He can shoot from the hash as well. He's a really good player, really cool guy too. I was trying to vouch for him on Blitz's pick right here, but he ends up going Vampire instead. But Denton is going to fit into this team so well. I mean, this 5 that Tonic assembled right here is going to be super good vibes. And then we got another one of my OGs. We got SK, who actually is the original Tonic and Joey, if you will. He was the dude that was doing post scoring out the corner as a stretch post with me in my like OG years, you know, like 2K18 into 19 into 20 and stuff like that. So I've played with SK a lot in the past, and we've played here, you know, here and there amongst the recent years, but this is a really great time for me to be able to regroup with SK and actually play with him competitively and something like that. And this is going to be a fun opportunity for him to be a really good fit on my team and a really good value pick at this, like, you know, round in this pick. I mean, we were literally at my last selection technically because I was bound to get the last pick of the draft as well. So as you can see, with the final pick of the last round, or the first pick of the last round, I should say, D-Man, the content creator, who is a really good slasher as well. I mean, if you guys haven't seen him, he is fun to watch, man. Out the corner, he does that. Now, he does play corner to corner. He's like SK, where he's going to play corner on offense and corner on defense, and D-Man's not exactly a big man either, per se. So Lag will be playing probably something to do with playing big, but they might need him to guard ball too, so they're going to really get the most out of Lag in terms of his skill set defensively, but with that, you have Renee, who's going to be on the back end. You got D-Man, he's going to be in the corner, probably playing as their dropper, if you will, where he's like rotating from the corner and stuff. And then, like I said, D-Man combined with Dre, those are 2 really good slashers that fit into a 5-out offense, and that's exactly what Dre built right here. So I love Dre's team. This is going to be a fun one to watch, bro. And it's just full of a lot of cool people, too. So anyway, A-Dot finishes his team off with Zeke. He needed another guard. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to work because Zeke and Nate are both natural point guards. The ball belongs in their hands a lot, so it's kind of on some Kyrie and Luka stuff. And I'm not here to doubt that Zeke could play off ball. I think he definitely can, and I think that's what he may be asked to do a good bit here because Nate is a true comp pro MPG, and Zeke has that potential in him too, if you ask me. It's just he hasn't been on the game quite as much, so naturally being a point guard that maybe isn't as like, you know, in tune with playing the game as consistently, you're going to go a little bit later in the draft and then combine that with he needed another guard or someone to play the hash, so naturally, you know, with all the options left remaining, there weren't many people that can play hash offense, and that's just how it is. We have a lot of back ends and locks remaining here. So next pick, we have Blitz finishing his team off with Saint, my boy Santiago. I mean, bro, I've actually known him all the way back to 2K18 as well, and he's probably even known my channel since 17 as well. So I've played with him here and there. He's been a loyal viewer, loyal subscriber for as long as I can remember, so I had to get him in this league. And as you can see, he's combining the Vampire and Saint duo where they're going to play lockdown and back end. So one of them's going to play the 4, one of them's going to play the 3, and then Blitz gets to play the 2, Cruz gets to play the 1, and B Black is going to be the stretch 5 on that team. So really cool dynamic for him. I'm sure this is going to be a good vibe squad that can definitely get along really well. Same with, obviously, as you can see, Joey right here, he gets OG. Now, this is OG Almighty, another YouTuber. He's got about 120K or something like that as well. He's really been on the YouTube scene for a long time as well. And I got to say, I think there's a lot of untapped potential on this team. OG could be a really good lockdown. Trippy can be a really good 2-guard. Sprague could be a really good comp pro-am player as well. Koza has so much potential to be a great pro-am player, and he's going to be slotting in, doing a lot of stuff that that team's going to need, whether it's playing on-ball D, playing point guard as a shooting guard, all this stuff that's going to really be getting the most out of him for sure. And then Joey, obviously, we know he can do his thing as well with the comp pro-am stuff too. So I'm happy to see Joey put together a pretty decent squad as far as the comp style goes. I'm intrigued to see how the team chemistry will be, though. I think if there's any team that's shaky on the team chemistry a little bit, it's this one, because obviously, as you can see, Joey's got his trio, but then Trippy and OG don't fit into that trio quite as much. So it's like, I'm curious to see how well the 5 will cohesively work together. And then same with like A-Dot's team, he gets like 3 comp pro-am guys, and then a couple of my boys like Outer and Zeke. Outer and Zeke will get along. I'm intrigued to see how those 2 teams will work out, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. I think everybody else has a lot of like chemistry and like glue guys to get along with really well. And that's not me dissing anybody that I'm talking about in this video at all. I'm just being open with you guys how the dialogue looks, in my opinion, because I know all 35 of these people really well, or 34 minus myself. And I want to keep giving just some good, thorough description on what the teams look like. So Spade goes to Apollo's team. He fits in with Lazuli, AK, and Neff right here. So Spade's probably going to play the 4. Lazuli's going to probably play the 5. Neff is going to be playing point guard. AK's playing lock, and Apollo's playing the 2. It's a lot of out of positionness going on right here, if you ask me, but it will probably work out in a really good system. I assume it's going to be a little bit of a 5-out look. I assume it's not going to be a lot of screens. I would bet Apollo ends up on a build that can dunk, pairing that with Neff being on a 5-out point guard that can dunk too. And they'll probably split between like pretty willingly bounce back and forth between the 2 of them roles, and AK will play the hash on an 85 3-pointer lock, and it'll be as simple as that for them probably. I'm sure AK won't be used very much. It'll probably be a lot of like a Bauer situation on Joe's team, where Bauer doesn't get used offensively a lot, but he will be there for defense, and he will be there to still shoot from the hash as well. So then with the last 2 picks, we have Handles right here. He is the one that, like I just said, made the thumbnail for this video, and I had to get my boy in here. He thought it would be really cool to play. I told him 100%, bro, you can absolutely get in this league. I mean, the nice thing about this is I'm giving everybody an opportunity to at least learn the game if they don't know it already. And again, it's not some extreme competitive level or anything like that we're looking at. So someone like Handles, I'm actually not sure whether he's going to be really good or really bad at the game. It's a little bit more of a mystery bag. Whereas Cook right here, I'm not going to lie, I am happy that I did get my boy here late, but oh man, it's been so long since Cook's played the game. So this is Cook's first year back since 2K20. He has played no 2K other than, let's say, a couple games at the beginning of 2K21 current gen. This is his first next gen 2K game that he will be playing, and he just got the game like a month ago as well. So here's the benefit to it though. Build wise and chemistry wise, it works pretty good. Me and Cook played a lot back in the day between 2K18 to 2K20. So like 18, 19, 20. Kitchen and Cook and SK, those are all 3 my boys for that era right there. Super heavy. So granted, we have a new Cook right here. He's a different person and stuff like that too. And on top of that, what's going to be really nice is I can mold kind of what I want him to do a little bit more, because I was able to kind of tell him what type of builds I'm trying to play with and stuff like that when he got back into the game. So Cook's got the Bonnie build. Tanner's got the Bonnie build. Kitchen's got a 2-way point guard build, and SK has a stretch. All 4 of those builds play really well with mine, and that's how I've kind of built my teams over the past anyway. So what I assume I'm going to do is play me and SK in the corners on defense. We're going to have Cook on back end with Kitchen guarding ball and Tanner on hash D, or reverse that with Kitchen on hash D and Tanner on ball. And we might be able to switch everything between Tanner and Cook. We'll figure this out 100%. Whether it's me on back end and Cook needs to just play corner D or something like that if he's not really prepared enough. But I trust in these guys to learn a system really well, and all of them are my boys that I've played the game so many hours with combined total. So I got a lot of value out of like the chemistry I've built with these guys, with these picks, because I know everybody in the league, but these are my like tightest people right here, in my opinion, at least for the value of the pick. I mean, obviously, like, if I could have built my tightest 5, it would have probably been someone like Tonic on the team, probably would have had Apollo on the team, AK on the team, stuff like that, but it's just like, obviously, with what's available in each round, I got some really good team chemistry on mine. I'm so excited to have this 5 together. Like I said, I couldn't ask for like a more hours put into the game of all the years in total than this 5 right here, pretty much. And Tanner, I've played the game with him like so much, from 2K, let's say like all the way from 2K15 to even like 2K18 or 19 and stuff like that. So anyway, that is our draft board right there. That's what the teams look like. I'm sure, like I said, if you guys want to find somewhere to find these streams, Blitz and Joey, or Blitz streams on Twitch. So does Apollo. If you guys want to find their Twitch links, I'm sure they could like drop a comment on this video if they care for you guys to be able to see where their, you know, stuff is recorded or streamed. Same with me, Joey, and Tonic. We all record videos. I'm sure we'll make some content with this, me and Tonic especially. Joey, he'll probably be a little bit more of like he'll make the videos if they do well on his channel. So if you guys want to support any of these guys, I'm sure they'd appreciate it as well. And that's what the whole point of the series is. I want you guys to be able to get behind this really heavy, like you probably are at this point if you're this far into the video. So if you are this far into it, I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to show any love to any of these guys who stream, feel free to. I think Dre also streams on Twitch. I'm not quite sure what his Twitch is off the top of my head or anything like that. So like I said, they'll be able to drop comments, or maybe I'll put it in the comments and pin it for where you can find all these streams and all these videos and stuff like that if you want to get invested into this league. So anyway, that is off video. I hope y'all enjoyed. I know we got really long and winded out here. I didn't even like cut anything. I just been talking for like 20 minutes straight describing all these people. That's because I got so much love for them, and it's so fire that we can get a league of all 35 of my closest people on the game right here. Obviously would have preferred to have some people like Nut or, you know, others that are like really close, like Dope and stuff like that too, or I even asked Penny from, you know, Joe's team and stuff like that as well. But there's just a lot of people that were either too busy or didn't have the time, and it is what it is. It's going to be perfectly fine. Obviously I would have loved to have like even 40 or like 45 or 50 of my closest people in here, but it's just it didn't either work out for them, or we ran out of room a little bit in terms of like we had to get a solid number between like 35 or 40 or 45 obviously. So, you know, things just had to happen one way or another on that. But we will still have some people that are left over to be subscriber team captains. Not to mention, if you are at the end of this video, here's the good commitment part to this. If you're at the end of the video, put Laker in the comments, search Sports Media all the way through to this point in the video. But if you're interested in being someone that gets reserved for, like, let's say you're interested in being part of the subscriber-led teams, right? And you want to do something like that. But this is something that has to be really tight and really perfect amongst all 35 of us. And the chances are that someone's not going to want to continue to play this, and it is what it is. That's just the facts that I'm facing off that. So I want to make sure that we have replacements in line for that. So if you happen to be a point guard, shooting guard, lockdown, power forward, or center, and you want to be a reserve for our part of the Pro-Am League, let me know. I'll probably end up with some people that I, you know, kind of sent the other way and stuff like that didn't make it into the subscriber Pro-Am League for whatever reasons. And I need like people that are actually dedicated to being a reserve though for something like this. Granted, like I said, I only want to have a couple of those because I don't think we're gonna have more than like 5 people quit or anything like that either. But I need some reserves just in case people do quit the league, and we need someone to patch up a hole in the team. Like for instance, if let's say Cook doesn't want to play anymore, or it's just bad team chemistry with anybody on this league or anything like that, and they don't fit with the other 4 and the other 4 don't want to play with that 5th, I have to respect that. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough dealing with friendships and stuff like that all amongst this league when some of them don't know each other and might not click with each other. So I'm hoping we can be friendly, and I'm hoping everything gets along well. But if we have an odd man out on a team, I need someone to be available to replace that person, and it's just going to have to be like that. So if that happens to be you, also leave in the comments and tell me that you want to be reserved for the main league, and I'll reach out to you probably. I want to be very thorough with those people, so I'm going to make sure that if that's something that you're interested in rather than being in the subscriber teams, then let me know that as well. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching this super long video, me just talking over like blank screens or just screens with text on it and stuff like that. No gameplay, no nothing like that. But I really do appreciate you guys listening through and understanding that there's a lot to explain with something like this, but it's something that's so worth the explanation, and I think it's gonna be a really fire Pro-Am League. So anyway, I'll get to you guys with further details. I might end up streaming and stuff like that too a lot with a league like this. I can start watching, like have watch parties on like the games and stuff like that too if someone else is streaming, and it's gonna be so fun to just watch my boys play against each other or play against my boys too. Like I'm thinking of the matchups where I'm gonna be guarded by Denton, or I'm guarded by, like, you know, Outer or Renee or something like that. It's gonna be fire to have the banter back and forth like that. It's gonna be so fun. So anyway, or like me and Tonic going head to head at center or something like that. It's gonna be so cool to do this. So anyway, that's all video. I hope you all enjoyed, and truly I hope you do enjoy this series as well. So anyway, that's all vid. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.